in Cameroon. He is a member of the Douala Group and also a core member of Cameroon Civil Society, a Pan-Africanist, and he's been on exile in Burkina Faso. Is back and has been working tirelessly, not only now for a coalition to hold for not only these elections, he did since the previous elections. He has been on this platform severally. His name is Mr. Kum Chamini, who has been in Yaoundé working with all of these guys you see out there. I'm talking about the members and leaders of our opposition political parties. Good evening, Mr. Kum. We're glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Good evening to all your televiewers.
Okay, it's been a very busy week for you guys of the Douala Group and you in person.
Yes, definitely. It was quite a hectic moment. We were trying to finalize a process that we started actually in 2020. Trying to get people that wish to have fundamental change in Cameroon to meet, talk with each other, and then try to find common grounds upon which they could move. And then I'm happy to say that this process that moved from Cadre Citoyen de Concertation, C3 to Alliance for the Transition, Refounding Transition, is sort of coming to fruition today with the group of Douala. That's getting all the people to work together, and I'm hopeful.
You are hopeful. Who did you meet with in Yaoundé this past week?
Okay, the group of Douala first met almost with almost all the candidates. There was in two phases, I would say. One before the Electoral Council, we met with what we believe to be the main candidate. That was Professor Maurice Kamto, Minister Bello Buba, Minister Issa Chiruma, Barrister Akere, Joshua Ossi, the Chairman Joshua Ossi of the SDF, and then yes, that's about it. Oh, I'm sorry, Cabral Libi, and then Pius Matumba. Okay. Yes, so we met with, so we started by looking at those that were presidential candidates in the 2018 elections, and then the newcomers also we did. Those that we haven't met yet were the young. There's a couple Ateki
and Hiram,
and then Hiram. Those are the ones that, as a group of Douala, we have not met yet, but we definitely will do that.
When you met with these big guys, Professor Maurice Kamto, Kere Muna, Issa Chiruma Bakari, Bello Buba Maigari, Chairman Honorable Joshua Ossi, Honorable Cabral Libi, what did you tell them?
Well, you see, I, as a mediator that is still mediating, I wouldn't go into the details of everything people told me, particularly, but what I can say is this, is that we had most people at first agreed on the notion of working together. So that one that was well understood because the Douala Group demonstrated after the analysis of 5 years of the past five presidential elections that it was impossible for any candidate, if they went separately, to win this election. And then so there was a clear understanding that we have to work together, and if we have to work together, then there is a way of doing it that is more likely to yield success than otherwise. In the past few attempts of coalition building, what the leaders have done was, let's meet and then let's pick one person and then we put ourselves behind them, behind that person. So what we proposed this time was quite of a different approach. Let's have a common set of reforms that we want to make within a transitional or refoundation period. And now once we agree on that, then we can pick one consensual candidate and then assign that person to be the president of that period, to carry out that with the entire team of the other leaders, the reforms, and then go to elections at the end of the transitional period. You know, so at first, many people did not understand the need for transition. Some didn't understand the need for the foundation. But I can tell you that today, 90% of them are agreeing on the necessity of Cameroon to go through a transition and then through the foundation. So which is a huge success. The other thing is that all of them are speaking with all of them. All of them. They haven't seen, in the past 35 years, opposition leaders attempting to connect with each other the way they have done this time. Thanks partially to the group of Douala, but really also to the realization by all of them that this is a unique opportunity to change this system, and then nobody wants to be blamed as to be the one that made the Cameroonian people miss this opportunity. Okay.
What was your initial reaction to the Constitutional Council's decision to retain 12 candidates and reject Professor Maurice Kamto's candidacy?
I was among the first people to express concern and then disagreement on the attempt, gross attempt by some government official to stop some candidates, particularly candidates that had come second and third at the 2018 election, namely Mr. Maurice Kamto and then Mr. Cabral Libi. You know, there was an obvious attempt to stop them or create havoc, you know, inside their organization. And when the Electoral Council eventually came out with this list, and the candidate Maurice Kamto was not retained, I was shocked. I have to say that, because everything the government have been saying all along was that you may not run under CRM. Professor Kamto used his legal might to attempt to persuade maybe the popular opinion, but definitely didn't persuade too much of the government of all of that, that he could have elected official without going through elections, but understood himself that if he went that route, it was a dead-end street. Okay. And then eventually found a party, made an agreement with that party, and then got invested by Manidem. So for me, it was a close case. Maurice Kamto will be a candidate like all the other candidates, and now we work together to see if we can make a grand coalition to defeat CPDM. So this attempt to really keep him out, even at the level of the Electoral Council, was quite surprising to me, really.
Okay, it was quite surprising to you. Would you describe the decision as purely legal or politically motivated?
Well,
you followed the situation.
Yes, I did. I did follow
submissions. Yeah,
I did follow the situation. There is, you know, though they may use a veneer of legality to back up the decision, it is clear that it is a mainly political decision. Look like there are some quarters that are decided in the case of Maurice Kamto that that shall not be a candidate. The reason that was put forward, plurality of investiture, was shaky at best, because you had so many elements showing that this administration had recognized Nchupichem as the president of Bandidem. Yeah. Even though, sure enough, like the last moment, there appeared to have been some other documents showing that Yebga might have been recognized at one point, then Anise recognized at another point, then again,
there was
yeah,
but the issue was that a definite ruling had not come from the court.
Yes. You see, when I look at that issue, I want to take it on a two different levels.
Okay.
Okay, one level is in the case of Maurice Kamto. Clearly, my answer is that there was a political. There seemed to have been. I can't be sure. I wasn't sitting with nobody that has decided one way or the other. But I can say that from all appearances, there seemed to have been a decision at a high level that he shall not run. However, now they could make such a decision, such a political decision, that they needed to find mistakes also
on the part of
the Manidem, for sure. And this issue of political parties going close to the Ministry of Territorial Administration and then dealing with the Territorial Administration has been plaguing UPC and then Manidem. That is every time, and then PCRN. That is, once you have conflict inside your organization, you are dead. If there is any lesson that political leaders must learn, is when you run your organization, you have to find serious consensus inside your organization, and do not take your conflict to the minute, because the moment you do, then you are fragile, and then so they can double play you. At one point they will support one group, and then another point they will support the other group. Yes, if you know the history, in the case of Manidem, indeed, Yepga was the president of Manidem, duly elected, and when the Anglophone crisis started, he took position that were very
radical.
I would say that the government did not like. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And then and he said took positions that were more amenable to the government at the time. So certain things happen, and then it is clear that Atangandi saw the opportunity to go in there and then do certain things. And unfortunately, once you open up and then let the Minister of Territorial Administration get into your organization, then you put yourself in a very weak position. And then it was kind of, I have to say that they pulled it up, but at the same time, the opportunity was there to use that disunity within the organization, and then some things within the organization were not done according to the rules, inner rules of the organization itself.
Okay. From a civil society standpoint, Mr. Nchupichem, do you believe the candidate selection process was fair and transparent? I'm talking about the 12 who are going, and that some were unjustly taken out away from Professor Maurice Kamto.
And I haven't seen, any other candidate, a candidate other than Maurice Kamto that has really complained that he was unjustly taken out. Zipan is a specific case, because it was accepted by the Electoral Council, and now when he went there, a member of his organization that was disputing the presidency with him came and then was able to convince the Constitutional Council that he didn't do things in the right way. But here again, Mr. Kum, I'm saying, I'm not trying to blame people, but I'm just telling them that every time you are an opposition party and then you have conflict inside yourself, you better be sure that the government will use those conflicts against you at one point or the other. So my appeal really is just a call to wisdom, that run your organization according to your text, try to keep unity within yourself, because you're fighting a tough adversary, and then if any mistake that you make will be used against you.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. This is what should be from Tico regarding the current political situation in Cameroon. I would say that while Maurice Kamto is often at the center of political discussions, there is not much to write home about. Kamto is undoubtedly a brilliant legal mind. There is no denying he understands the law far better than you and I. However, in Cameroon, laws are selectively applied, and anyone who dares to challenge the status quo often faces severe consequences. Back in 2018, when Kamto emerged with the fire and energy that many Cameroonians saw as a sign of real change, there were two major decisions that made anyone who thinks critically begin to question his leadership. Calling for street protests in 2018, during which many Cameroonians lost their lives. If he is truly a leader who has his people at heart, he should prioritize protecting every single life. Boycotting the municipal and legislative ultimately weakened his political position and credibility. Both decisions have worked against him and hurt his future candidacy. As young as I am, I saw through these missteps early on. Perhaps that's why people like Michel Ndoki eventually left his party. That said, I believe in change. But for real change to happen in Cameroon, coalition is the way forward. Kamto should consider rallying behind genuine leaders who are truly committed to transformation, not those in politics for personal gain. Okay, what is writing from Tiku? Does make some sense there?
Well, yeah, absolutely. One thing that I can say to the Cameroonian people and to militants of political parties is that they always have to keep a critical mind and then help political leaders to make sound decisions, because, like I said earlier, internal conflict and then sometimes bad decision making can, will result undoubtedly into some. You have some bad consequences. Let's put it that way. Now, I do agree, however, with the caller that the way forward is definitely the coalition. The fact that a particular candidate was not retained does not necessarily put that candidate out of the political game. One can still be very, very useful, even if you are not the candidate. Besides, if we are going to have a coalition anyway, it means that out of the, say, 11 non-CPDM candidates, maybe say 5 or 6 will decide to go together. If they go together, that means that one will be the candidate, and then 5 will have to give up their position to make that 6-1 the essential candidate. So the other 5 will still be active, and even those that will not retain as candidate can still be active. Everybody will be needed if you have to uproot this CPDM regime.
Were there early warning signs or irregularities that might have predicted the fact that some persons were going to be kicked out? You raised the issue of Cabral Libi and Professor Maurice Kamto. Even before the electorate was convened by the President of the Republic, were there some signs in the air that showed that there were moves aimed at discrediting some guys?
I can say that for sure concerning Cabral Libi and then Maurice Kamto.
Okay.
And then I even wrote about 3 months ago. Kona came from nowhere. He was the one invited at the May 20th march past. He started announcing that he's supporting Paul Biya. Got the Minister of the Interior Administration saying that he's the one that he recognized. And then so while Cabral was fighting in the court, the administration should have chosen his person. One way or the other, Cabral might have find a way to appease the lion, and he's a candidate today. I hope for him that he, in the process of gaining back what was legitimately his, that he was not forced to make compromise that will come and then...
Is Cabral not going through, not necessarily because he did not follow the path you suggested? You said, if once you take your matter straight to Minard, they are going to decide what happens, because Minard consistently stood for Kona, but Cabral he won 3 times at the court. Kuna will go to the court, Cabral wins. Kuna will go to the court, Cabral wins. And even days before Elekam, Cabral still wins, which means that Cabral chose the path of justice and not entirely depending on what Minat says.
Oh yes, but that's a certain stage of the history. But if you go step back, you remember that Cabral in 2018 run under Univers.
Univers, yes.
Right? And then he had a problem with Professor Kuvondo. And then I'm not the one saying it. It's Atanganji that came and then said it publicly, that he is the one that brokered the deal between Cabral and Kono.
Yes.
Do you understand? So when you go to Minat for anything, know that that thing is likely to bite you at one point or the other. Now, who am I to judge? I'm just saying maybe maybe he was desperate, because I also know that he had attempted to create his own political party, and then the process was stalling. And then the minister told him, "Oh, why do you want to create a political party? There's so many political parties already. Why don't you just take the political party of this man and run with it?" So he was like a guarantor of the deal that they had. And then, you know, so as a result, when this conflict came, he started taking some positions that were not, you know, so that was before the court. Mr. Cabral had already gone to Atanganji to.
When Elekam rejected some of these files, is it not already clear not to go and waste energy and time, effort at the Constitutional Council?
Well, you know, Mr. Leo, the law is what it is. Every time some decision is taken at one level, if legally you have the right to appeal, then you should by all means use that right. Most candidates did not go there. There was about 83.
70 rejects.
Yes, there was 70 reject, but only 35 cases, out of which, you know, actually amounted to about 28 people. So, meaning that you had a bunch of people, like 50 people that really say, we're not even going there at all. But you saw that of all those cases, you had really only about 4 or 5 cases that was really worth attention. One of that of Isabakari Chuma, Cabral Libi, of course, and Zipa, yes, and then Kamto. You know, so those were the cases that really mattered. All the other things were not important.
UPC, we saw the 3 factions at the Constitutional Council. Is there something that is definitely wrong with the UPC? What were they going to prove at that level?
It was extraordinary, because what happened is that UPC has 2 general secretaries. One that supports the CPDM, and then the other one that supports Akeremuda. And then both of them...
There is a faction that supports either the CPDM or Akeremuna, the one that is led by Bayebek. Bayebek is leader for. There were 3 of them.
There were 3 of them. There were 3 of them. But just hear me out.
Okay.
The 2 general secretaries, even though they don't see eye to eye, went there to fight to get the 2 of them fought to get the Constitutional Court not to agree for the 3 candidates that were there. Do you understand?
Okay, I understand.
So that's quite funny. That is, of course, they did it for different reasons. UPC has decided to support Akerimuna.
A faction.
Yeah, the faction led by Balaguer, and then of course could not have at the same time 3 people running on the UPC, or even 1 person running on the UPC. And then the other general secretary supported Paul Biya. So of course he was against those 3. So hey, UPC I think it's like they call paneer the crab. Those crabs in the bucket. It's just a complicated issue. There's too many divisions. I just think that they will never be able to find unity again. It's a hopeless case.
It's a hopeless case. Now, what happens with Manidem by your reading? The government now says, okay, you follow the Minister of Territorial Administration today on RFI, who says that there's just no document in his office that justifies the fact that Anise Ewane holds any position within Manidem, and that the person who now heads Manidem is Yebga.
I have seen documents
Really have
presented to me by Anise Ewane. Anise Ewane is my friend. We were in prison together in 1990. I've seen a document dated 2018, which signed by that same Atanganji, saying that the president of Manidem is Anise Ewane. Now, if he comes down and he says that the document that he himself wrote is no more in his office, what do you expect me to say, Mr. Kum? It's just that this country has gone to a point of despair, I would say. You know, like you have to just laugh, because I have the document, and then Anise Ewane is the one that invented the candidate in 2020. And he said that is the one that's receiving money in the name of Manidem. I mean, you know, so Anise Ewane was received by the Prime Minister, with Atangani's boss, as the president of Manidem. So if a government can do all of that, the trail of the proof that they recognize the person as a candidate, and then suddenly, the last minute, go and find somebody in the village, bring him up here. It's clearly a political move, and then the second one at that, you know, really not too intelligent, I would say.
What future do you see for Manidem?
Well, I hope, because Manidem belongs to the same political family I belong to. That is the political family of UPC, that is the family that is characterized by sovereignism, socialism, and Pan-Africanism. You know, so I hope that this incident will lead them to find a way to have reconciliation conference within Manidem, for one, and solve that issue once and for all. In fact, and say even pointed out to Ghana and say, look, if I have offended you, you know, I beg for your forgiveness. But by that time, it was a little bit late. You see, the guy had already found something, and it's out of the question for him to pull it out. Even if he pulled it out, by that time, the court was you know, would have taken the position anyway that, hey, it's not clear to me who is the president here, and then it is not within our competence to decide who is the president of Manidem. But I am hopeful that Manidem will go through this crisis, find a way to organize itself, and then be what is supposed to be a very strong party for the left socialist type of politics in Cameroon.
But how was it going to work given that the political ideology which Manidem stands is built on? You are talking about sovereignty, Pan-Africanism. How was that going to work with this fusion with Professor Maurice Kamto, who certainly was coming in with something different?
Oh, yeah, definitely, that was a curious. I mean, he said, and then Maurice Kamto made how we call it now, curious bedfellows. That's the expression in English. Because ideologically, they are not in the same family. Maurice Kamto is more liberal or capitalistic, though he may say that he's a social liberal, but really when you look at his program, it's a pure right-wing type of program. But I spoke to Ewane, and then what he explained was that even though we have he and Kamto had different ideological views at this time of the struggle, the main objective was to get rid of the CPDM government, and then you know that also Manidem was for a transitional period. So the same way that we're talking today about getting all the candidates, regardless of their ideology, to go through the transitional period, I think is the posture that motivated Manidem's decision to invest the candidate Maurice Kamto, despite the ideological differences.
Yes, Kamto, Professor Maurice Kamto is actually seen as the key opposition leader in Cameroon. What does his exclusion mean for the political competition and pluralism in Cameroon?
On the one hand, one may say this, if he remains silent and does not give instruction to his followers, that might taint the credibility of the election and eventually diminish the possibility of the opposition to win. Because when you study the past election, abstention has been a serious concern, because it went from 19% in 1992 to about 47% in 2018. And you know, so if there is a perception by the voters that candidates are unfairly taken off the ballot, then you may have that voter apathy, and that will benefit to the CPDM. However, should Maurice Kamto turn this failure into an opportunity and say, okay, I may not participate, and that's what I hope that he will do. I may not be a presidential candidate, but I will use my political weight to push for unity and for a transitional period. I think that then the government will find out that they made the greatest mistake by not taking him. Because him not being a candidate makes it a lot easier to pick among the candidates who can be the front bearer. If he was a candidate, it might have been a little bit more complicated, you know, to choose between him and then Bello. Let's say him and Bello. Let's be plain here. To win this election, opposition has to carry the far north, the north, Adamawa, Littoral, and the Western Province. They have to squarely win those, because that's 61% of the registered voters in those 5 regions. If they carry it with good numbers, then it's done. Because the Northwest and the Southwest today, given the situation there, the numbers are very little. And you know, so the Central Province is a contested zone. So the only zone where CPDM can be sure that they could do anything that they wish is the South, and then the Eastern Province, the region. And then I guarantee you, if you have that lined up, the election is carried. So Mr. Kamto still therefore plays a very, very important role if he finds an agreement with Mr. Bello. Okay.
What I get from you is that, okay, the fact that his candidacy has been rejected facilitates the creation of a coalition, because if he were to be given the pass to the elections, it might have made things very difficult, because he would not want to bow to some other person, and the other person may not necessarily want to bow to him. Yeah, it makes it a lot easier and
for the group, yeah,
and facilitates the coming together of the power weights. Imagine that the UNGP and the and Professor Kamto says, okay, I'm pulling my weight behind you, and then Issa Chiroma comes in, it's going to be something huge.
Exactly right. So I just want to be very plain. I do not want CRM members to wait for me outside and then say that I'm happy that the candidate was not, the candidacy of Professor Maurice Kamto did not win. I wish for it. I supported it always.
The role of what
I'm saying, what I'm saying is that something bad can happen, but you can still pull something. With Bello, and because if he does find some sort of agreement with Bello, Chiruba will come in, and then most of other candidates will also join in.
Okay. Could this decision fuel tensions, discourage participation, and radicalize supporters? You already raised the issue on the possibility of voters' apathy, which is going to reduce participation. But you followed through social media. There was some guys yesterday who went violence at the Cameroonian embassy in Belgium, and you followed on social media. There are people who have been calling for unrest. We have to go violent. Others even say no, come to the vote. What is your appreciation on this?
Let me tell you, I have to say something for televiewers so that they can understand who is talking to them.
Okay.
I have been a revolutionary. I had revolutionary training. I've fought against this regime from 1985 on the ground, and then in 1990s we were at the top of the protest, not only in Cameroon but outside of Cameroon. I have to say this to the young brothers that are out there doing things in a certain manner, that number one, I understand the frustration that they have. However, even if you have to organize a protest, the 12th of October 2025, let's use that one. Then if at that time really we use it and then we know we this regardless of the argument that you brought forth. And I call upon the members of the government. Power is something that turns around. You see, and it's not like if opposition ever took power, they will change nationality or they will be changed. They still live in this same country. So as they rule, they have to remember that they may be the rulers today, but tomorrow somebody else might rule, and then the way they act might come back and then haunt them, you know.
This press release from Elecam is written, the Director General of Elections has the honor to invite candidates for the election of the President of the Republic on the 12th of October 2025, or their representatives to come and confirm the emblem, color, and title chosen for their ballot papers at the Directorate General of Elections, room 216, not later than Monday, the 11th of August 2025 at 5 p.m. prompt. This is to say that, okay, things are moving to the next level.
Yes, sir.
Come and show us the color of your emblem, color of all of that.
Yes.
Is this once this is done, is that not going to work against what you guys are doing? Because it means that once ballot papers are already chosen, they are going to be found in the police station.
In the police station, that's right. But before I answer that question, Mr. Leo, let me just say one thing. Because as I was talking about the regions, I'm afraid I gave the impression that, it's not that important if people in Northwest and South Province.
Yeah,
I hope I didn't give that impression.
No.
I want to be clear. People should come out and vote. Every vote counts. Do you understand? That is, wherever there is security and then anybody feels secure in the Northern and South to vote, they should go out there and then vote and not be afraid to vote, even if they put the ballot station, the police station in military headquarters or in the DO's office or SDO's office. They should go out there and then vote what they want to. They should vote. So I wanted to say that, to be very clear about that. Even one vote count, and then you can win this election with one vote. The second thing that, the answer to your question though, is this, for us, we are trying to hold a meeting this weekend to get those candidates. Yes, it's on Monday. So we are going to hold a meeting this weekend to get those that want to work together to go out there and then pull themselves out. It has two advantages. The first advantage is that they get back the 30 million. And then second, they do not confuse the voters. Yes. And so we are active on that. We got the information. We just got the information just now as it came out, and we are anyway plan a meeting this weekend, and then definitely we will try to pull out something, and then hopefully by Monday, people will know if a certain number of candidates. I don't want Cameroonians to think that the 11 candidates will come and say we turn into one. No, there are some candidates, and then I'll let the Cameroonian people discover them themselves. That I've said already, they're not part of anything for whatever reason. But I believe that there are about 7 of them that are determined to work together, and then we are going to make everything humanly possible for those 7 to pick a candidate by Sunday.
Okay. Good evening. Kamto has been kicked out of the race, and the remaining political parties are not even willing to face the CPDM head on. But let me share something I've personally observed. If voter registration is truly closed, then let me say this clearly. CPDM has already won, and not even by cheating. Here is why many Cameroonians have completely given up on voting. A large number of citizens don't even have voters' cards, and those who do have them are mostly genuine CPDM supporters, including uniformed personnel, members of parliament, councillors, and senators, all of whom are CPDM. In fact, almost all the councils in Cameroon are controlled by the CPDM, and over 75% of the seats in parliament are held by them. These are the same people who will likely be campaigning for Paul Biya. Given all this, it becomes clear that even through legitimate means, it will be extremely difficult for the opposition to overthrow the current regime. Okay, this is someone who is also watching and sharing his opinion. But if you have a question for Mr. Jukam, just send it to me. I'll ask. I hope we'll have time to answer all of them. If you have a question for him, just send it. I will ask him to clarify, because the reason why I brought him here is to also give clarity on what happened at Elekam and the Constitutional Council, and also the efforts they are putting to get the opposition parties together to form a coalition. Were you in Fuman, and your appreciation of what we saw in Fuman last some days back?
Okay, I would like to respond to the caller that talked about the numbers and then the fact that CPDM has already won. There is, I have the numbers. I'll give him the numbers. In 2018, there was about 7 million registered voters, and CPDM had 2.5 million. You know, I'm rounding off the numbers. It was 2.56 or something like that, but 2.5 million. And the people that abstained from voting after being registered, 3 million. You know, so the idea that CPDM has already won the election before it starts, it is not a correct idea to have to carry and then to promote. It discourages the voters and then, you know, contribute to voters' apathy. It is not true. I want to, you know, like this year we have about, and then let me go even further. In 2011, CPDM had about 3 million voters, a number like that.
Less. The total number of voters. Actually,
no, what the point I'm trying to make is that in 2011, in 2018, the CPDM had less voters than they had in 2011. You know, so all of them were, both numbers wasn't too far from each other, but they were about 3 million. So this sends a clear story, is that the voters of CPDM are no more than about 3 million. This year, we have 8 million voters. CPDM is likely to still manage to get about 3 million, but there's 5 million left. And if of those 5 million, 4 million decide not to vote, do you understand that CPDM already won? So I want to say to that caller, it is not CPDM that win, it is you that refuse to exercise your right to vote. That give them the victory, that facilitate the victory. So please go out there and vote. I would prefer that you vote for the consensual candidate. But if you don't even choose a consensual candidate, go out and vote.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I am Che Mboni from Bamenda. Please, if Prof. Kamto's candidacy is rejected, could he resign again from Manidem to MRC in order to run for the council elections? It's a possibility.
I mean, you can. There's no law that limits a person from resigning and going back. You have the right to do it.
Jean-Jacques Ekindi,
that's right,
from the CPDM, went to FP. His party created his party, moved back to the CPDM, right, and now he's moving back to his party because he's behind what is happening between the sister and
then Zipang.
Yes,
that's right. Yeah. So no, there's no restriction as far as that's concerned, as long as you do it properly. That is, you make sure that your resignation is deposited in the office of the governor, and then in due time, then everything's fine. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Leo and Berlin Atam, watching all the way from Limbe Alpha Club. So if you have a question for our guest, just send it. I'll put it through to him. Now, do you think the electoral system needs urgent reforms to restore credibility, judging from what you've observed so far?
Yes, yes. There is this electoral system has so many problems. In fact, all political parties have been fighting for the past over 20 years to get it to improve. There have been some slight changes, but those changes are not sufficient to declare that the system is entirely fair, transparent. So this is why opposition leaders have to go beyond what they would have had before and then find a way to unite, because without unity it's very, very difficult. I'll take an example. In appearance, our electoral code is very fair because it says this: the result of the election are declared right there at the polling station immediately after the polling station closes. So technically, and then normally every political party is supposed to have a representative there that receives a copy of the procès verbal. But there's 31,000 polling stations. And then I am sorry, but no political party has that ability to cover the 31,000 polling station. And then people say, why? I say, but because if you were to just give to each person 5,000 to go there, you need 150 million that day to be able to cover that stuff. And then normally every party has the right to 2, so that's about 310 million. Who can have 310 million per day? In other countries, the people that are supposed to represent those parties are taken care of by the body that organizes the election, so they don't have to spend money from their pocket. But you know what Elecam has done now? What they said is, oh, okay, we'll give food to everybody that is inside. So Cameroonians always have this way, you know, like the person has to be there. It's more important than the food. But then they will make a concession on something that is useless and not on that which is very important, the ability to make sure that everybody is represented in the police station. It is a very, very difficult thing. That's why political parties have to work together, because nobody can cover the entire territory. Okay. Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Lo, and your panelists. I wish to ask your panelists, CPDM had 2 candidates, Manidem had 2 candidates. What made the difference between these 2 parties? Secondly, can Prof. Maurice Kamto be endorsed now by a party that has been accepted? Is SDF giving a chance to Professor Maurice Kamto? Lastly, what is the time frame for the opposition to unite? And can they unite after campaigns are launched?
Okay. Okay, so the first question is that in the case of the CPDM,
they had two candidates.
They had 2 candidates, but not 2 teachers, which is different. If you have dispute, there is within CPDM, there's no dispute as to who is the president and who is not, and then who can invest and then who is not, who is the general secretary.
The party endorsed invested.
Yes,
through through a document that we are investing this person.
That's right.
And then the other person did not have that document from the party.
Yes, so that's what made the difference.
For Manidem, we had two
people that claim to be president.
With investments from the party.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. So that was the difference. I'm not saying it's fair or unfair, but I think that's the difference. Then the second thing is, can the person still endorse a candidate after the ballot box, the ballot has been printed? The answer is yes. Even the last day, you can say, look, vote for this person.
Vote for this person.
Yes, the only difference is that when you do that, you lose your 30 million, and then also it kind of confuses the voters, because then they have a whole bunch of things in front of them. So the ideal thing is to do it before, but those that after that change their mind can still do it.
They can still do it. Yes. So if you do it now before before
the 11th, the 11th or the 12th. Yes.
So they could
They will not print your ballot.
And they will refund your
They will refund your 30 million. Yes.
Okay, that is a possibility, so that these resources are
can be used now to campaign.
Okay.
Right. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
One thing that is very important that we propose to the candidate is that whenever they will choose who is that consensual candidate, in every poster that they make, they should put the picture of all the people that that's on them. Yes, you know. So that will do two things. Number one, you show to the masses that, oh yeah, this is the people that work together, that listen to our cry for unity. And then the second is that it will make the other candidates not feel too bad that they lost an opportunity for political publicity.
Okay. Now, what can the civil society organizations today do to preserve peace, promote voter confidence ahead of the elections? We were just waiting for the Constitutional Council?
For Constitutional Council, and then the candidate to pick the consensual candidate. Okay. So once that is done, I would divert all my attention into the parallel voting tabulation program that we have in place, and then that's where the civil society will play a very, very important role in making sure that even if the parties manage not to be present everywhere, that we will be present everywhere, use our software, and then tabulate, and so much so that 2 hours after the electoral, the polling station are closed, we should have some sense of the direction in which things are going. The civil society organization play a very important role in maintaining peace. I have to tell Mr. If I've been working on spending my money, like most of the members of the group of Douala, we're not candidates. We don't gain anything personal. All we want is to see the country change. And then we've done our best to get the people to unite. We do our best to carry out surveillance of the polling station. However, should the CPDM by miracle wins, it should be accepted that they won. Do you understand what I mean? But the people fail to show up in the polling station, because the only reason why CPDM can ever win is if people decide to sit home and not go and vote. So if the Cameroonian people themselves chose not to go and vote, then they will not have the change that they're wishing for, and they will have nothing but themselves to blame.
Okay, they will have themselves to blame. Many persons are asking questions. Let me take some of the questions. Someone is saying that his party is endorsing a candidacy of Honorable Joshua Osi. Can you send me an official document from the party with the party letterhead? Please, I cannot also pass that information. You are writing that I should do a public announcement, but can you do it on the party letterhead before I send that information out? Please, sir, is now I'm entering. Please, can I? Okay, you want to contribute? Just send the question to the guest tonight, and I'll ask him. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and good evening to the intellectual institute. Kimbi is my name, writing from Yaoundé. My question is this: is there any possibility for Manidem to go for municipal and parliamentary elections if things remain the way they are? That is what is referred to as internal problem.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a difficulty, because it will be again in the hands of the Minister of Territorial Administration to decide which faction goes. And then you know that has been plaguing UPC for a long time. I really hope that Yebga and Ise will sit down and then solve that issue, because thankfully the issue is not as deep as it may appear at first. They just need to kind of sit together and then just solve that once and for all, organize a congress of the party, and then move from there. I wish it didn't happen the way it did happen, but things happen.
Okay, things happen. Please, should the remaining opposition parties consider rallying behind a single candidate to improve their chances as we speak? That is also the cry of so many persons.
That's been the cry of the Cameroonian people, and then we, as a group of Douala, we've been trying to talk to the candidates and then convey this cry to them. Like I said earlier, do not expect all the candidates to come together and then produce only one consensual candidate. That is unrealistic. There are some parties that have said already that we will run no matter what. The only thing that you can do to punish them is not to vote for them, but legally you have no way of stopping them from running. And the Cameroonian people should therefore pay attention to those that will come together as a team and then promise them a series of reform that will make the country better. That's what, in other words, the power is in the hand of the voters. On the 12th of October, use that power.
Yes, it's a bigger problem now, not finding how to find the consensual candidate. Have you people already started thinking about that? Are there some criteria you put in place? Have you spoken with them that this is how it's going to happen?
This year, I've been part of a whole lot of coalition building, but I'm telling you, this year is very simple. It is not complicated. There are some majors, people that, I'll name them. There's Bello Buba, 7 MPs, 506 municipal councillors, manages one region out of the 10 region of Cameroon, and then I think he manages also one major city. That's a heavyweight. So you can't come there and then so what the first thing that people do, and then it has a party that's well structured and then implemented in not only on the region but in the eastern province, and then in the littoral, so it has a party that's well structured and implanted throughout the country. Then you have the Cabral Libis and then the Joshua Osi with 5 MPs and then certain number of municipal councils and things of that nature. Then you have a kind of unusual case of Professor Maurice Kamto that has
a huge following.
That has a huge following that nobody can deny, even though he has no elected official because he boycotted the 2020 elections. And so when you want to build a coalition, you have first to go to the majors, and then you talk to them. Once you have 2 or 3, did I talk about Issa Chiruma, which is also a major person. Once you have 3 majors, you can build a coalition.
Yeah, but we have some other persons who have doubtful political basis. You can really not trace where their militants are found. Yes. You cannot say they have this membership across the nation. They're just there. They say we are political leaders and we are signing into a coalition and expect to have the same treatment. Is that not also where the problem is? And are quick to blackmail maybe those heavyweights who would want to call the shots?
Well, the reality is this though. We have had that problem before. But I am telling you, as a part of the group mediating among the political forces, that issue is no more an issue of dispute. That's not, nobody's disputing that anymore, because as years go by, people learn lessons. You cannot come and then you have no political base, and then you go and then you want to sit on the table and then discuss with a person that has 5 MPs and then stuff like that, or that has a large following, as if you're like equal, No, you are not equal. There is no equality in politics. There are some people that are stronger than others. Having said that, there's nobody that should be neglected though, because we want all the votes that we can carry. And then you have some people that love Mr. Bouamasok. And then, so if they see Bouamasok coming there into something and say, I support this, you may have a certain number of people that otherwise would not even go and vote, that will go outside and vote. So we should avoid two extremes. One extreme is to want equality, absolute equality among all the members of the coalition on the one hand, or second is neglect anyone in the coalition by saying you're not important, you're not, everybody is important, but they don't have an equal weight.
Okay. I hope the message is going through. Good evening, Mr. Leo Peter, watching from Gemel Limbe. Please, your panel member mentioned that each party needs about 300 million to pay representatives. If the parties are truly represented in the entire national territory and are true to themselves, their members should volunteer to reduce the cost.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's in theory, but what happened is that once you create, first of all, once you create a political party in Cameroon, you face so many challenges. And I mean, it's not unusual to see political parties that go in some region of the country trying to install themselves, and then the DO will come and then say, no, you can't meet here, you can't meet there. There's too many challenges. There's only 8% of Cameroonians that are carrying members of political parties, and then this including the CPDM. So if you count on those people that bought your card at 200 francs or 500 francs to finance 150 million in one day, that just won't happen. But if the political parties get together and then there's a popular involvement, then people will mobilize where they are, so it'll be cheaper for them. So that's why it's important, number one, that a certain number of political parties show unity. Second, that there be a popular mobilization that will just create like a lot of volunteers that will come and then do those things without asking for money.
Okay. Now, after the verdict from the Constitutional Council yesterday, can we see Maurice Kamto have any remaining legal options, or this is the end for his candidacy, because some persons may be contemplating on whether there are possibilities for him?
No, there's no more possibilities. That's the end of it. For him, at least that's the end of it. And then that's the end for most other people that have brought any discourse. Once the Constitutional Council, takes a decision, it's final. This is final.
Okay. So we are waiting for those who were clear, 12 of them, to go for these elections. But what form of response or resistance would you consider legitimate for the supporters of Professor Maurice Kamto at this stage?
I think that
their leader is not going for elections.
The highest form of resistance that they can show for is to punish the CPDM by voting for the consensual candidate.
That's not the CPDM who barred them. The CPDM was also taken to court. It's the judiciary. It was a LECAM, an independent institution, and also the Constitutional Council.
Yes, in normal countries, in normal places, the Constitutional Council and then the Electoral Council are normally independent. But we all know that it is not the case in Cameroon, unfortunately. And then that's the battle. That's one hurdle that we need to pass. That's why those of us that are talking about the foundation, thinking that we need to go through a period of time where we review our constitution, we review our electoral code, review our penal code and the educational system, because there's a lot of things that just are not working right in Cameroon. We cannot blind ourselves to the fact that we have many issues that need to be addressed. But unfortunately, there is like I would call a power fatigue. I think Mr. Biya has given to the country all that he could give. It's very, very difficult that he is able to carry out any major reform at this age. It's just even extraordinary for him to even be able president at that age.
Okay. So, your message to the supporters of Professor Maurice Kamto?
Remain mobilized and then vote. Do not abstain. Vote for the unity candidate of the opposition. That's the best form, that's the best revenge that you can have in this particular case.
And to those who were saying no Kamto, no elections?
I think that this is not the best position to take, but those people will be liable of having helped Mr. Biya to stay in power for 7 more years.
Okay, and I'll take 1 or 2 more messages. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Good evening, Mr. Kum and your panelists. I am Kum Innocent, writing from Boya. My question goes to us, what can be the strategy Kamto and his supporters can employ to remain politically relevant and influence the election's outcome despite his exclusion from the ballot? You already answered that.
Yeah, answered that. And then plus people seem to think that after the 12th of October, Cameroon will stop or something. There's other elections that are coming. One in 2026. I mean, 2 of them in 2026. Plus, there's 20. I mean, there are many more years. The life of Cameroon will not stop in the 12th of October of 2025. It is a very important step. And then the best thing that Cameroonian must do is to go out there and vote massively, and then control the vote. Sit there at the ballot station and then wait until the result to come, so that they will have the result and transmit the result to the headquarters of the different parties, so that it can be assembled and then tabulated. That's what needs to be done. But after that, CRM is not dead. I mean, the fact that the former president was not able to run for one election doesn't really kill that political party in one day. No political party will be dead for not having a presidential candidate. And now, not everybody can be candidate, a president anyway. So there are many, many other elections, and then, there's plenty of ways to remain relevant, even if you're not in the political party.
Okay, good evening. Please, Mr. Leo, thumbs up for this wonderful program. And I want to find out from your panelist here. He's really outspoken. Find out from him if he's not afraid of being arrested following his vocal outings. Chemboni is writing there.
No, I've already been arrested so many times that I'm no more afraid. I mean, fear is something that's no part of my vocabulary. But I want to also say to people that we went to jail to gain some space of freedom, and then I want Cameroonians to exercise them without fearing. There's no more fear in Cameroon of expressing your views. I think that people should just know that that's a right that has been earned through the struggle of people that came before them, and then they should go ahead and exercise it.
Okay, so he's been arrested before. Can you just tell our audience what you've gone through in Cameroon? Because some persons have written to me. Can we know who your guest is?
Well, my name is Joachim Chamini. As you already told them, I was involved very early on in the political fight in Cameroon. In 1985, I think, that's when I became actually very, very active. But on the ground, because at that time there was no political freedoms. But in 1988, I was arrested and then, locked up in political prison, taken to military court and sentenced for 3 years for subversion, that is attempting to overthrow the government. Then we were freed in 1990, and then along with Anise Ikane and then Yondo Black. And we formed the coalition, the coordination in early 1991, in which Nijon Fundi, Eboa, Belobupa, Isachuruma, all of them, we worked in that, and then during all those fights, we were getting arrested. I mean, being arrested was just part of the nature of the game, actually. It was difficult. I lost a lot in this process. I not only did I lose 3 years of my life and then 5 years in exile, but I lost a company, I lost a son in the dubious circumstances. But I just want to say to people that the fight for freedom, it is something that takes time, that requires some sacrifices, and then the only hope that I can, the only thing that I can say to the young people today is that we sacrifice, and then we want to see you enjoy that freedom. And then the thing that hurt me the most is to see that people are registered to vote, and then on the day of election they don't go and vote. They don't know what we paid for them to have the right to do so. They can exercise it.
Okay, they should exercise this. Somebody's asking what you discussed with Joshua Osei, but effectively he met Joshua Osei, as he said at the beginning of the program. Yes. But some persons are also very skeptical about Issa Chiroma Bakari and Bello Bubamaigari. These are guys who have worked with government for so long. Now they are positioning themselves as opposition, and you are convincing other opposition parties to rally behind some of them, because if Issa is chosen or Bello, people are going to. How convinced are you that they are veritable elements of Cameroon's opposition?
I've been in politics long enough to tell you that you cannot be convinced of anything that a politician says to you. But I also know this one thing, is that the people can put pressure on politicians to make them act right. So it's people have always the government that they deserve by the action or omission. If you do not put pressure on your political leaders, they will not act properly in the sense of your interest. But if you show them that you are politically aware, that you are politically active, that you're ready to make them suffer the consequences of bad decisions that they make, then things will happen. But in this particular case, we're not even talking about that, because these people are not in power. What we are talking about here is, should we create among ourselves suspicion, and then go therefore disunited against a common adversary, or should we just just put those things aside for now? We have one fight, 12th of October. It's in 2 months. It's not far away. And we want to fight that fight, get a consensual, a transitional president for what, 3 to 5 years, fix up Cameroon, go back to election. So my response to people when they say that is that if Mr. Ngongo called me tonight and tells me, hey, you know what, I decided to give up support for Mr. Biya, I want to join opposition, I welcome him with open arms, just like we did in 1992 when Sengako, who was a high-level CPDM member, jumped and then came and then joined Nijon Fundi. So politics, things like that do happen, and then we need to know how to be strategic and then welcome people that come from the opposite camp without creating too much suspicion.
Okay, can you come back to how the transition you are proposing would look like? What is it that this transition is going to fix in Cameroon?
What the way a transition goes, particular transition, that refounding transition, is that it starts with what they call like a ground national dialogue, but not the type that we see there where one person handpick people, but people start talking at the neighborhood level, and in the city, and then they go at the subdivision, then to division, then to the region, and then now they send delegates that end up going at the national level, and then they discuss issues of the country. They start do a balance sheet of the history of the country, how and then they look at urgent issues like peace. How can we bring peace now? How can we make Cameroonians feel like they are all Cameroonians? Just address issues like that. What type of constitution do we have? What type of form of state do we need to have? What relationship should we have with the former colonial masters, France and then where the British have gone already, but let's say France, that's still there, and even America, how do we maintain a relationship with them? So we have all of that, and all of this comes out in the form of the new constitution, new codes and stuff, and then we go through a referendum, and then and then once those things are adopted by referendum, the transitional period ends up by general election, including presidential election with two, I don't know how you call that in English here.
Second round?
With 2 rounds, the 2-round presidential election. So that's basically the view. During the transitional period, you don't carry out the program of a particular political party. It is carrying out the reforms that will give to the country a new institutional foundation. That's what we are trying to fight for. It's only on that basis that political parties can come together, because you have political parties with different ideologies and different programs, but they are coming together on the common program of creating a new foundation for the nation. That's why.
Okay, and you are telling Cameroonians that you will engage. The Douala group is going to be engaging politicians this week to make sure, or to hope that they come together and elect a consensual candidate before Monday.
Yeah, I hope you invite me here on Monday so I can give you the good news.
Okay.
Or the bad news.
we pray for something good.
Yes,
okay, my question. Mr. Chiroma and Bello have been part of the current regime for years. Personally, I believe that if they are now coming out to promote change, they should have started with an apology to Cameroonians people. Mr. Leo, I would like to ask the intellectual, do you think Bello or Chiroma could be a better choice for Cameroonians in the event of a coalition?
Let me say this. As a group of Douala, we are impartial as far as the candidates are concerned. And then we told them, get together, talk to each other, and then if you come to us with one person, whomever that person is, we will endorse the person. The key thing here is unity. So no matter who they come out with, there are many tendencies among the leaders. There are some people that believe that, maybe they should choose the sole female candidate. And then some other people are saying, why don't we give chance to a youthful leader like Ateki? And others are saying, why don't we give it to Barrister Akeremuna, who is not a politician, and things of that nature. But what we say is, and then others are saying, hey, we have to be realistic. We have to go to the election with people that have electoral machinery, because we're going for presidential election. It's not just a concours de mine or something, So people have different views. What counts is they go in there, they come out with one name. If they're not able to, we will try to facilitate the best way that we can. And our objective is to get at least 4 or 5 big people together, and then we are sure that if they are in there, other people will come and join them.
Okay, some people have a question here which I want to ask. Magnus is writing from Limbe. Good evening, Mr. Kum. The electoral code is volatile. Don't you think that there could be a revision that includes the clause that once a militant in a political party, there should be no carpet crossing? Magnus, okay? I don't know. That is also what he's talking about, that there will be need to clean up the constitution, right, and also what the electoral code says.
Cameroonians need to understand this notion of transitional period. It's going to be the sole occasion that they will have in the history of Cameroon to have their voices heard. Because Cameroon has been really unique in the sense that a lot of major decisions are taken without going through a referendum. you know, and then whenever they even do the referendum is always very contested because it's either a referendum that touch part of the country, not the other part, or then it happened in circumstances that are unclear of, single party politics. So here is an occasion for us to go through a period where the people's voices are going to be heard. That's one modality of the transition, is to get the people to be able to speak the mind and then participate in shaping the future of Cameroon.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please ask your guest, is it possible for retained presidential candidate to endorse Professor Kamto as the consensus candidate to face President Paul Biya? Is it possible?
No, it's not.
It's not possible.
Legally, it's not possible.
Okay.
The only people that can run and then the only person that can be a constitutional candidate is the person that's being retained by the Constitutional Council. That's it.
So 12.
Yes. But any person, retained or not, can endorse the candidate.
Okay.
But a legally accepted candidate, yes.
Okay.
And that's what we're hoping on. We're hoping that those that are not retained and that those that did not even registered to be a candidate, that they will massively be endorsing, because the endorsement is not only a problem of the candidates themselves.
Okay.
We start there, but we are hoping that more endorsement of association personalities and stuff will happen once we have that consensual candidate.
Good evening, Mr. Kum. Can you please tell some of us what the Douala Group is all about? The names of those involved. Eric is writing from Kumba.
The Douala Group is made of individuals that have a lot of experience in the political scene, that decided to put their time, energy, and money to meet and talk with all the presidential candidates, and then press upon them and pass on to them the message of the people that this time you have to go together. And what we do is we meet them individually first, and then we try to call them into meetings, and then we've been successful in doing that. And then the group has some spokespeople. Right now, the two spokespersons for the Douala Group are Sambaka and myself.
Okay.
But we, behind the scenes, we have other people that are working, like Professor Victor Ngo, that was one of the co-chairperson of the meeting that we had in Yaoundé. We call upon people to help us with analysis of data, with all sorts of different things that we need to do to be able to, because when you go to talk to presidential candidate, you have to be ready, right? So there's a lot of people that are working, but you see only two faces so that our message is clear and not distorted.
Okay. To the person who was talking about the possibility for Professor Maurice Kamto to be endorsed by the consensual candidate that is going to be chosen amongst.
No, it's the other way around. Mr. Maurice Kamto can endorse the consensual candidate. No.
Somebody asked a question whether it is possible. So I want to give a response coming from Dr. Atia Tilaris, who is watching us from Bamenda. It says, only the progressive movement whose candidate was invalidated can do so within 3 days beginning yesterday as per section 128 of the Electoral Code, which means that they can still have a change at the head of the MP party.
Oh, yes.
So
if that's the question,
to replace him, if they have the possibility.
No, we have to be very clear about the law on that instance.
Okay.
Let's say, for instance, if you are rejected because your party has a plurality of candidacies, there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
However, if the party rightfully invested an individual.
Yeah, but the MP did not have plurality.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh,
yes, that's what. Yeah. I just want to clarify.
Okay.
Yes, that if the party rightfully invested a candidate, and then for one reason or the other, it is found that that candidate does not meet one criteria or the other. Let's say, for instance, a party legally invested a candidate, and they turn out that candidate is 34 years and 360 days, so it's not actually 35. I'll just take one example. Then that party may be given the possibility to replace him by a candidate that meet all the criteria, okay. Yes, all the conditions. But if that party, however, is having problem with investing a candidate, then it becomes a lot more difficult for them to make a replacement. So, like you say, maybe in the case of MP, they might go and then they have 3 days to look for someone else.
They have 1 day, because
1 day actually.
So yes. The latest is tomorrow. If
yes.
they don't change, it's final.
Yes.
So we're going to be drawing the curtain with Mr. Nchupichem. At this juncture, certainly you have one word to tell those who are watching us, that you're coming back on Monday to tell us whether you people have agreed on a consensual candidate or not.
I am very hopeful that the political leaders of Cameroon, the candidates, will understand the cry of the people and then choose among them a consensual candidate to direct the vote. I am also just calling upon the Cameroonian people to take their responsibility fully and then to come out massively and then vote for that consensual candidate, because that's what they've been asking for. I am hopeful that by Monday I should be able to come on this TV set and then announce to you who the candidate I've chosen, and then and then maybe from there power will be yours to make that person your next president.
Okay, thank you very much. And like I announced yesterday, we are starting the My Media Prime Viewers Choice Award. We want to celebrate distinguished persons in career and also institutions that are doing so well out there. So we want our viewers to tell us who is the best mayor. We want our viewers to tell us which school is the best, which council works are the best, amongst others. We are starting with the best private university. We want you to vote for your best private university, and I am with Mr. Nchupichem, who is going to present this project to us and how it will look like. Good evening, Mr. Nchupichem. Glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, televiewers. It's an unusual day. Today is Wednesday, and I'm here. Usually it should be Fridays that I'm here talking digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and personal development. But today I'm talking of a wonderful project that my Media Prime has brought up, that I thought it wise to jump on it because I see it so valuable. It is very important that we should look at the institutions that are championing our economy and, of course, give them a red feather as if it were to be traditionally enthroned. But now we are talking about awards of structures of individuals who are oversight shakers in our industry, and who else could designate such people apart from you who watch this wonderful TV.
Okay. Eli, I hope everything is okay, because I did not get Mr. Nchupichem on air. I did not get his image. The voice may have gone through, but he's not on air. Mr. Nchupichem, why is this important? How important is this?
Well, Mr. Leo, it's very important that why structures, why individuals are doing what they do out there, it is important for us to give a tap on their back. It's important for onlookers to tell them congratulations, to tell them well done, so that they should actually know that what they are doing is being recognized and they're being appreciated, and the society is asking them to do more. And for those who are maybe one way or the other are not recognized and awarded, should also accelerate their steps to make sure that they have themselves awarded the next time. Is some kind of some kind of review that is going to prompt some people to say, hey, I was counted. It means that I am doing something right. I should stay on the limelight. And it's also going to call on those who will not be selected or not be voted to say, why am I in this category? And they are talking about other others, and they're not talking about me. So I think it's very important in our society and in our economy, especially now, and especially the angle from which we've started, which are private universities who are playing a vital role in forming our young people as far as their careers are concerned. So I'm sure the curiosity has already been raised. There are certain private universities that have been shortlisted. I mean, some are already, I'm sure they are gearing up to see how they can push to see that they are the ones that are mentioned, or maybe the ones that are selected at the end of the day, that are the finest that are in Cameroon. Of course, in my mind, I'm already thinking about, I went through a private university, so I already have, I'm already building momentum. I'm already hitting up my classmates, and we should get this award for the sake of our school.
Which universities are we talking about here? 21 of them have been shortlisted. Yes,
Mr. Leo, we have 21 universities that have been shortlisted. I'm not reading them in any category of awards already. They are just listed. It is your votes that are going to determine who is number one and who is not. So we have to start with is the Catholic University. We have Biaka University. That's Catholic University Boya. We have Biaka University Boya. We have Himmat University Douala. We have
Himmat University is in Boya.
Himmat University Boya. Sorry. We have ICT University in Yaoundé. We have the Hype University in Bonaberi Douala. We have EG Douala. We have UJET Douala. We have IUC Douala. We have Saint Bernard University in Douala. We have the National Polytech University in Bamenda. We have the Catholic University of Bamenda. We have Université de Montagne in Bagante. We have Chitekma University Boya. We have Siantu University in Yaoundé. We have the Landmark Metropolitan University in Boya. We have RIMS, which is also in Boya. We have St. Louis University. I think St. Louis is in Bamenda and Douala as well. We have FOMIC Polytechnic University. We have FIMAP University. We have Alpha Higher Institute. We have Istama. We have the Pan-African Institute for Development. Yes, that's where we have the list ended, Mr. Lee.
How are the votings going to be done?
Well, the votings are very easy. You vote through either SMS, or you can do that through WhatsApp, and numbers have been provided for such a purpose. The codes are going to be provided for which you are going to vote. For example, if you want to vote for number one, which is the Catholic University of Boya, all you need to do is type 41187 hashtag 150 hashtag 1, and you send through an SMS or a WhatsApp number that I am going to provide here. The SMS numbers are for Orange and MTN. For MTN, we have 652 453 145. I read it again: 652 453 145. That is for MTN, and for Orange, we have 640 15 40 40. And for WhatsApp, those who want to do it online, is the Orange number 640 15 40 40. So all you need to do is to send the code 41187 hashtag 150 hashtag 1, and you have your vote casted, and it's going to cost you 150 francs to vote. And if you want to cast more than one vote, it means that instead of just typing 41187 hashtag 150, you are going to multiply 150 by the number of votes that you want to cast, and in the place of 150 you put the amount, and then the hashtag you put 1 if it's Catholic University of Boya, you put 2 at the end. If it's Biaka University, you put 3. If it is Himmat, and so on and so forth. So all that information is going to be circulated here on TV and on social media handles of My Media Prime, and also on the My Media Prime Viewer Choice Awards. So do well to follow up, and of course select the best private universities in Cameroon.
Okay, thank you. you very much. We hope that the information is gone through, and let the competition start for all of us who are viewers of My Media Prime TV. After we're done with the best private universities, I'm sure we are moving on to a different category. Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Leo, for having me. Do I have the time to campaign for my school?
No.
All right, Mr. Leo, thank you so much for having me, and I'm looking forward to
campaign for your school.
Yeah,
I
schooled at Ewane here in Douala. I mean, if you think that I was well formed, then they did well for me, and that's the seat. That's a seat number. So if you are watching me and you school at Ewane, don't hesitate to join me so that we can talk about our institution.
Okay, the code for Ewane is 6.
Yes, it's 6.
Okay,
so
you take the code, and at the end of it, you add 6. Mr. Kum, thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
And to all of you for watching, we thank you very much, especially to the production team. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.